ever since I was a teenager at that point anyways. And I've been going to like multiple different schools for music. Like in high school, I did this kind of like Norwegian concept of like a boarding school for 1 year where you do arts. And then I ended up at university to get the bachelor's degree in musicology. And throughout my years in music, I've been in many different projects like bands. I've been in like choirs and a cappella groups, whatever groups, like different kinds of constellations of musical expression forms. And I just basically kind of got to the point where I felt like if I really want to put my music into a project that's like really personal, because music has always been like an audio diary for me, it's very personal and it's very, maybe if it's too specific when you're in a band with other people that might not share your vision or understand even what you're trying to communicate. I decided that I want to try to make a project where I didn't have to compromise or worry about like alienating potential band members with my own emotions. So that's why I made Sylvaine back in 2013, because I wanted to have like a home for all of my most personal feelings and thoughts and wonderings about life. So it was basically a want to have a project where there was no compromise in the music or in the artistic vision, to stay really 100% true to the emotions that needed to come out through the music. I am not the best when it comes to genre descriptions, because I'm not such a fan actually of using genre descriptions, because I think it's kind of trying to put something that is abstract and kind of like free in nature into like a box. I mean, I see the purpose of it when you're telling someone about a project, like for them to be able to visualize kind of what it sounds like, or for the people that are trying to sell music to be able to, push it as a product. But I'm not the best at like giving genres to music, and that includes my own music, especially because I feel like my music has impulses from so many different places. Like I'm very inspired from everything from minimalism, which is basically more in the classical sphere, to like black metal, or to shoegaze or pop music, or that kind of thing, folk music, as you said. So it's hard for me to kind of put one label on it, but I've seen people use different labels for my music. Like black gaze is one, which is a mixture of shoegaze and black metal. I've seen spleen metal, I've seen atmospheric metal, I've seen post rock, I've seen alternative rock. I've seen melancholic rock, Gaia metal. I've seen a lot of different labels. Are more than welcome to use whatever suits them, basically. It's just a matter of finding whatever you think suits it. And for me, I like to say that my music is a concoction of many different impulses that range from very intimate and very naked in nature and very beautiful, atmospheric, lush, to very harsh and kind of ugly and heavy and dark. It's a project that's built up of contrasts between opposing forces, and like to try to find a balance between them, or to explore the imbalance between them. So that doesn't really give the best picture of what this sounds like, but that's basically how I like to
Well,
describe it. That's a very good question, because there have been many moments in those 10 years that I've been doing this, or 11-ish, I guess, years that I've been doing this, where there's been periods where I feel like I can't touch a guitar, or like, I can't write at all, and I feel frustrated about it. But I think so far, life and my choices in life has allowed me to let inspiration flow through me when it's here. Because I think as an artist, it's really important to listen to that calling of inspiration. And it's kind of like almost our duty as artists, if it's in music, if it's in visual art, if it's writing, whatever kind of art, to listen to when inspiration is actually here and like calling our name and wanting us to do something about it. We should respect it and actually try to grab it at that moment, and not go, oh, I'll do this later because it's more convenient later or something. So I've been trying to do that, been trying to honor the flow of inspiration when it's been here, and it hasn't been flowing constantly for the past 10 years at all. But life has given me many experiences, which has made me feel a lot and made me face a lot and to question a lot, which has also, of course, made me inspired to write. So yeah, I think basically just staying in touch with inspiration and not like ignoring it or trying to put it into a schedule that's convenient is very important. It doesn't really work like that. And also to not be totally freaked out when it's not here, because usually it's a fluctuating thing. It can come back. And also, of course, the more you work with it, the more it will be kind of easier to tap into. So yeah, I wouldn't have imagined that I would have made this many records in the last 10 years, but I'm super grateful that I've had the inspiration to do it. And who knows what the future waits. I always treat every release as if it's the last one I make, to try to stay grateful for every step that I take with this project. So yeah, we will see what the future holds after this. Pretty surreal, to be honest, because coming from a place of being very not confident in myself as a musician, and kind of struggling to find the balance between letting myself express what I need to express and just like being true and authentic with the emotions and focusing on that. And then at the same time, having this voice constantly saying, yeah, but should you be stealing people's time with this? Like, is it good enough? Are you worthy enough to be able to, like, to try to present yourself to the world? So having come from a background of that and something that's still present in me now, after so many years, less and less, but still, it's still here. It meant a lot to me to have the music acknowledged by people outside of my sphere. And I mean, I say that, but actually the most valuable thing has been people around the world, just like any people around the world listening to my music and to telling me that they connect with it, which is just something I could have never imagined when I started this project back in 2013. So of course, getting the Spellemann nomination was really cool, mainly because it felt like it could be kind of like opening doors for other girls and women that would want to go into this kind of genre where it's been heavily male dominated throughout, well, its existence as a genre, like the metal genre. Even rock and roll has been very heavily dominated by male figures, which there's nothing wrong with. It's just the fact that there's been a bit of an imbalance there. So to take on a role as a potential role model for people out there, to show them that if you also feel at home in the dark, so to speak, it's cool. Like you should pursue it. That is actually the most valuable thing with that nomination. I would never, if someone asked me, do you consider yourself a role model? I would say, no, of course not. Like never. It's not something I would, it's absolutely bizarre to think like that. But if I look at it from an objective perspective, seeing that it could potentially be that because it's the first time it happens in the history of this prize and the history of that category existing in this prize, that actually means the most to me with that nomination. I don't think I would have recorded this EP if I didn't have the right location to record it, because it all started with the title track of the EP, Eg Framand, which was a song that I think I discovered it in 2021, and it was like a slap in the face, and I was just like touched to the depths of my core by this piece. It's a traditional folk music piece with unknown origins, and it's not the most known one either. There's only like a few recordings that I found of this piece. But it just spoke to me so much, and actually speaks about exactly the same thing as I do in Sylvaine. Just if you remove the Christian kind of religious context and you put it in a more spiritual context, which is what I did. I rewrote the lyrics to take out the Christianity because it's not something that I personally believe in. So it felt disrespectful to sing the words God or Jesus when I don't believe in it myself. But anyways, with this piece being what it was, and that was the starting point for this EP, I wanted to record it as a single after debating with myself for quite some time if I wanted to actually record this or not, because I performed it live sometimes between 2021 and 2023, basically, and up until the moment when I recorded it. And I kind of liked the idea of it being this ephemeral thing that when the moment felt right, I brought it out and I shared it with crowds around the world, basically. And I liked the fact that it was just here and now and then gone. It was like a moment that we shared and then it was gone again. So I wasn't sure I wanted to record this track. But then I started to think about if it's done in a worthy way, in a place where I feel like it belongs, I think it will be okay to do it. So I thought about Kampen Church because it's a place that I sang at a few times when I was going to music high school back when I was a teenager. And I like the room, like it has a very nice reverb, natural reverb. It's not a huge church, but the I almost said the floor. I mean, the roof is wooden, so you have a warmer ambience than like in like stone cathedrals and stuff like that. But it has a nice natural reverb that sounds very warm, and it's, I don't know, it has this kind of intimate yet big feeling to it. So I thought about this immediately when I was like, well, maybe I should try to record Eg Framand. I reached out to them and they were nothing but super enthusiastic and very helpful and nice. when I asked if I could come to record this track at their church. Now, from there, it developed into me recording the full EP because I was diving into the folk music a bit more intensely around this period. And I found several pieces that I really felt connected to, and I wanted to include them in this project. So Kampen became the natural place to do this because it just has a natural character that holds many different things within it, like this comforting warmth. It's very organic, natural. And I wanted this EP to be organic. I wanted to have like the color of the room where it was recorded and not touch it too much, like not do too many edits, not do too much post-production. I wanted to be organic and kind of real, as if you as a listener was sitting there in the church with me, just listening to me sing and play organ and play guitar. So definitely the room itself, I think, made a big difference in the EP and the big difference in the emotional quality and the sound overall of the EP. It's a huge part of it. It's yeah, it just was like the perfect place to record it, and I'm really, really happy that it worked out and that I could tap into the same thing that I did for my first album, you know, just going to somewhere and recording it on my own, completely alone for hours in this church, you know, just trying to figure out how to do it because I've never recorded in such a big room before. I never recorded organ before. I never played organ before. But it was so cool, and it was such a creative bubble that it arrived at the moment in my life when I really needed to tap into that again. So yeah, Kampen Church was the perfect fit, and I'm really eternally grateful that they allowed me to come in as a metal artist in a church to record something. Thought that was pretty open. The Mexican audience is just so warm and so beautiful and so supportive. It's just kind of hard to comprehend how much they actually care and are invested in your projects. And when we were there back in 2022, we weren't expecting it to be such an experience, but like from the moment we arrived, we had like fans waiting and everything, which I know is very common in Mexico actually, but it's not necessarily common every time you go to a show here in Europe. So it was really, really sweet to see the dedication and to feel the warmth, like the strong warmth and like, you know, embrace of the audience in Mexico was amazing. So yeah, we really want to come back. We're trying to make that happen, but no plans to share right now, but hopefully that will change very soon. Hi, my name is Sylvaine, and you are watching Summa Inferno, and you should check out my new EP that will be out March 22nd. It's about Norwegian folk music, a bit different what I'm usually doing, but it will be a very special release, and I hope you will enjoy it.